Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 18th, 2026 meeting of the Board of Education for Arlington Heights School District 25. Thank you to everyone that's here tonight. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone that our meetings are when the school board conducts its business, and they're open to the public. Because we are an elected governmental body, we can only take action by majority vote in a public meeting like this one. We welcome the public to listen and observe, and we have community input sections on the agenda if you have questions or comments on the business of the board. With that, I'll call the regular meeting to order. And Ms. Carpenter, would you please call?
Here. Michael?
Here.
Here.
Neerman? Here. Buchberger?
Here.
Jogi?
Here.
Great. Thank you, Diane. And please stand if you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we are going to pause briefly to announce a new administrator, Kendra.
We'll wait until the
That's what I thought.
We'll pause for that.
Yeah. Okay, so that pause will be later in our meeting. So we're going to go on to communication from district partners, and I think we're starting with PTA. So Suchi, welcome.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us.
The mic is on today, so that's good. So good evening, community members. The 2026-2027 school year is officially underway, and it has been a busy and exciting start for our 9 PTAs across District 25. Our first Arlington Heights Council of PTAs meeting for the school year was held last night, August 17th, where PTA presidents from all 9 D25 schools shared updates on what they have been working on and what they have planned for the year ahead. It was wonderful to hear about the many ways our PTAs are preparing to support our students, families, and staff. Tomorrow, many of our schools will host back-to-school socials following their Meet the Teacher events. PTA volunteers have been hard at work this week coordinating supply drop-offs, ice cream socials, kindergarten playdates, and their first round of dine-out events, with many more events and activities already on the calendar. At the council level, we hosted our South Middle School incoming 6th grade pool mixer on Saturday, August 15th. With nearly 200 students signed up, the entire event was a huge success. A very special thank you goes out to all of our volunteers who helped plan, organize, and support the event this past Saturday. I had the pleasure of attending, and it was wonderful to see every student with a huge smile on their face. They were truly having a blast and even asked me if we could do it again next weekend. We are happy to say that we will be doing it again next weekend, but this time for our Thomas students. Our second incoming 6th grade pool mixer will take place this upcoming Saturday, August 22nd. We look forward to another fun evening helping our newest Timberwolves build friendships and connections as they begin their middle school years. The Northwest Cook region also held its annual lunch meeting on August 10th with a great turnout of PTA leaders from across our region. Many representatives from the Arlington Heights Council of PTAs were in attendance, making it a valuable opportunity to connect, share ideas, and prepare for the year ahead. We are thrilled to see the energy and enthusiasm that our PTA leaders are bringing to the new school year. We look forward to a great year ahead and are so excited for the many ways our PTAs can continue bringing our D25 community together. Thank you for your continued support and partnership for our D25 PTA communities.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suchi. All right. All right, so we would normally go to ABC 25, but we don't have a report this month from that organization. So Allison, ready for our ATA report.
Great. Back to back for me.
probably tired of listening to me already. But hey, everybody, good evening. Since we just came back to school and there are no students in session, I don't have anything fabulous to report in terms of classroom stuff going on right now. But I can report on how teachers spent their summer vacation. So enjoy, and we can live vicariously through some of our D25 teachers who did pretty amazing things. I have no pictures in the slideshow because the most exciting thing I did this summer was get new carpet, which was exciting at my house, but not picture-worthy. Okay, Amy Pinsky hosted a guest from Shatara and visited Portugal this summer. Some pictures from her. Beth Johnson, oh, there's Amy still. Too fast. Making sure it's not somebody else moving my clicker. Okay, Beth Johnson had a blast this summer teaching kids with many other District 25 teachers at Summer U, including me. She also washed Windsor's PE jerseys while she was there, so that was a win. She also was excited to walk with the other staff and families in the district for the July 4th parade and she volunteered at Frontier Days, helping the Rolling Meadows Renegades run their free hockey skills tournament. And finally, she presented at a PE organization virtual summer conference and adopted a new black cat. So here are some pictures from her summer. Yep, here and her PE conference. There we go. Heather Walsh visited the Red Rocks. There she is. Here are a few highlights from Karen Pullman's summer. Colleen Higgins always has an exciting summer. She went to Montana to try out whitewater kayaking. She says it was equally terrifying, as you can see from her facial expression, which we'll get at to a second, and fun. She also volunteered at the Association of Horizon, which I believe she does every summer, which is a week-long camp for adults with physical disabilities, and there are some pictures of her at camp. And there she is, whitewater kayaking. Pretty cool, yes. There's another one. Allison Anderley enjoyed basketball, football. Her twins turned 14, and she had a college drop-off at the University of Tennessee for her oldest this summer. This is probably my favorite one. Nicole Miller fostered 5 kittens for Heartland Animal Shelter this summer. I'm officially a foster fail from Heartland. I currently have a cat from this very experience. It was a wonderful, entertaining, rewarding, and they all found forever homes very quickly, but they still miss them. So there's a picture of a mountain of kittens, and here are her, I'm assuming her children holding those very cute, cuddly kittens. Yes, I have a soft spot for those. Danny Stasis spent 2 weeks volunteering at Camp SOAR and babysitting her cousins this summer. Some pictures from her. Stephanie Raz and her family went to the Pacific Northwest to explore an Olympic National Park and Mount Rainier National Park. There's some pictures from her summer. Nina DeBasol, did I say her name correctly or not? I'm sorry, Nina. She worked nonstop for the past 3.5 years and graduated from NLU as a double major, disability, equity, and equality, and in curriculum, advocacy, and policy. She is officially a doctor of education. Pretty exciting. Yeah. Jenny Coombe went to Yellowstone National Park, and her son performed as Bobby Child in Crazy for You, and they went to see The Outsiders downtown. That must be her son. Pretty awesome. Candy Horton is now Candy Powell because she got married this summer, which is also very exciting. Jody Cristoforo, who's watching everybody's names today, spent a lot of time by the water, either the Mediterranean Sea, Bridgeport Lake in Chico, Texas, or at her mom's on Lake Nokomis in northern Wisconsin. And there's some pictures from her vacation. Annie Ruff spent the summer relaxing in the Adirondacks with her family. I had to put that word in phonetics because I never say it right no matter how many times I try. Such a teacher. Jen Carney spent time with her college kids. There's a picture of her. Arlie Rabinowitz got to hang out with friends and see the Savannah Bananas. She's not the only one I know who saw them. I'm going to have to get tickets the next time because it looks like a lot of fun. And last but not least, Kathy Reising went to Wisconsin State Fair with her daughter Kate. She does this every year with her family right before school starts. These were some of their favorite food finds this year: hot honey chicken lemonade, sweet lemon berry cheese curds, fair achino cherry cream puff, and a roasted corn cup, which is always a favorite for them. So I hope you enjoyed some of our adventures from our D25 teachers. Thank you for letting me present. Next month, I'll have some things going on in the classrooms. So thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, Allison. Well, with the board's approval, we're going to shift a little bit in the agenda order, and I'd like to go to the consent agenda next, if that's okay. So the consent agenda is an action item, and can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve those items on the consent agenda as follows. A, personnel report and addendum to personnel report. B, treasurer's report. C, invoices. D, regular and closed session meeting minutes of July 21st, 2026. E, hold closed session minutes of July 20th, 2026 through June 16th, 2026, and previously held closed session minutes October 21st, 2025 through December 16th, 2025 per Board Policy 220 EI. F, hold audio tapes July 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, and previously held audio tapes May 8th, 2024 through June 11th, 2024 per Board Policy 220 EI.
Great. Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second?
Thank you, Kevin. And Diane, would you please call the vote?
Tranter,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Neerman,
Yes.
Buchberger,
Yes.
Jogi.
Yes.
Thank you, Diane. The motion carries 6-0. And now, I believe, Kendra, we are going to take that pause while we introduce a new administrator.
All right, I am so excited to be able to do this yet again this year. I'd like to invite up Anna Lang and her family. Come on up. What I didn't realize on the way here is these are Ivy Hill Eagles. We have 2 Eagles, a new kindergartner and a 3rd grader with us. Isn't that cool? And if you guys go home tonight and watch YouTube, you're going to see yourselves on this meeting. So it's super cool, okay? All right. All right, so it's my pleasure to introduce to you Anna Lang. She'll be serving as a new program coordinator in our Department of Student Learning. Anna has been a valued member of the District 25 since 2016, serving at South Middle School in several roles, including drama teacher, 8th grade English teacher, and most recently, instructional coach. Throughout her time in the district, Anna has demonstrated a strong commitment to students, collaboration, and supporting high-quality instruction across content areas. Anna brings a particularly strong background in the arts to this role. She holds a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Musical Theater and a Master of Education in Secondary English Education, along with extensive experience directing and coordinating theater productions and youth arts programming. We're excited for Anna to bring her creativity, instructional expertise, and knowledge of District 25 to this new leadership role. Please join me in congratulating Anna and welcoming her as our new program coordinator. Anna said she didn't want to say anything, but I know she could sing something to us. She was sitting behind me when we were doing Country Roads, and she's got a beautiful voice. So, congratulations, Anna. It's nice to meet you. I'm Kendra. Nice to meet you.
Okay, we'll continue on now, and we are at the time in our agenda we set aside for community input. If a member of the public wishes to address any item on tonight's agenda, we ask that you please complete one of the blue forms provided on the table by the door and hand the card to Diane Carpenter. Please note on your card if you wish to speak now at the first community input opportunity, or if you wish to speak later, should we have a second opportunity later in the meeting. Diane, do we have any blue slips this evening? Okay. All right, which brings us now to board communications. So, colleagues, any board member updates for the month of August?
Mr. President,
Yes, Deb.
I have a couple of things that I made a note of. I just wanted to mention to the community. The first thing, I want to say thank you to Melissa and to Liz for offering me an opportunity to serve as a sub for NSSEO. Wow, it was educational, it was enlightening, and an incredible evening. So I am available any other time you need a sub, because that was really quite a phenomenal night. Also in August, a chance to meet and greet employees on August 10th with many of the board members, which is a great opportunity to really get to know the 37 new hires and the employees in the district, so a great gift as well. The 13th as well, having an opportunity with so many of our board members to socialize and have the luncheon with ATA, with our admin, with our new employees, so another heart-filling moment. August 17th has become my favorite day of the month as staff opening day, between phenomenal speeches from Allison Berg, from our president, Greg, from our superintendent, Dr. K, and just the joy for all staff and the positive feedback. It was phenomenal. Lastly, I took a course this month that I was kind of waiting to take for some free time, which is hard to find. IASB offered the Senate Bill 100 school discipline reform course, and I was just very curious as far as what does it look like and what should I know as far as how do school administrators and the superintendent know what to do with the knowledge of school discipline. So it was very informative, and I appreciated that opportunity. It was enacted all the way back in 2016, but it's revisited each and every year so the community knows. And there are misconduct trends that take place with our students, as well as reformed student discipline policies by districts. I appreciate the eliminating of the zero tolerance mandates and things like that, but continuing to further our education, as I see all the members of our board do. So just a great month so far.
Great, thank you, Deb. Other updates?
I think my friend Deb covered them all, which is great. No, it's great. It's great. And I will add on to what Deb said. Yeah, opening day. I think this one was my 10th one, and always one of a favorite for us as board members to attend, and just the energy and seeing all the smiles and seeing Allison speak, and it was just, and having dancing at an opening day, that was really very cool. So thank you, Dr. K, for all the work and the whole team. I know a lot of thought goes into the planning. So thank you for all the planning that went into that. I love the quote that Dr. K shared that day. I shared it with my board colleagues earlier. But when Dr. K said, when the staff thrive, schools come alive. It's so true. The amount of the morale and the thought that got put into, it's just not that day. It's all the prep and emotions that then carry through the culture of District 25. So thank you for all that hard work. It's really amazing. And we also, as a board, went to, I feel like it was a long time ago, but it was, right? It's renamed now, but the National Night Out event, which is now not called National Night Out. Kevin, I don't know, do you remember Kevin was there? Yes, and that was really cool, and we handed out rubber duckies. Thank you, Kendra, for all the rubber duckies that were organized that day, because the kids, I think our table was very popular. All the kids wanted to come to the District 25 table. And it was really nice to meet families from all the schools in our area, so lots of private school kids. Got to talk to the parents, and they were talking. It was really nice to just meet all the students in the community, whether they came to our schools or whether they went to other schools. So a great evening that night too. So great community engagement. Go team. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you, Anisha. Other updates? I want to add one of my own and amplify one that was already said, but I think both of them, for me, agreeing with the earlier comments, both of these events really were about building community across the district. So the one new one that I wanted to share that I got to sit in playing tuba with the 6th grade summer band, and that was so fun. I was just in the back, playing low notes, but just listening and observing, and there was great energy there. But really, kudos to the staff who come together and build it. It's a district program, right? It's from Northside and Southside together, and those kids, it didn't matter what side of Arlington Heights they were from. They were just in one band together, making music, having fun, coming in, in a week in August in the summer to do it and having a great time. So it's just great to see those kids building that community that's above and beyond their school and about being a part of the Arlington Heights community. And so then, and I think the same is true with opening day. And I mean, Dr. K, you talked about it. This is the only time we're together in that room as a district, but I really appreciate how you and the staff and everybody that makes that event happen, or even just reinforces that event, that you're taking the time to build community. I imagine there's a lot of, school year starts and there's a lot of work to be done, and I think it would be tempting to just, we're going to come in day one and we're going to hit the ground running, but I think you did, but in a very important way of building community, so I really appreciate that. So, thank you. All right, if there's no other updates, we are ready to move to the legislative report. Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. President. You guys are all giving me opening day FOMO since I wasn't able to be there yesterday, but I've been there in the past and it's always fantastic, so I'm sure it was great, and I'm glad that everyone
You were there
got
in
so much
spirit.
out of it.
Yes.
So on Monday last week, the 10th, I attended the annual EdRed Legislative Breakfast. I had the opportunity to sit and have a conversation with Representative Nicole Grassi and also members of our neighboring districts, High School District 214 and Mount Prospect District 57. The topics of discussion included the impacts of mandated categoricals on school districts, how transportation funding has impacted school districts, and evidence-based funding. One of the recurring themes in the conversation was just about the importance of communication from all parties involved in education and legislation that impacts education throughout the state. More than one legislator expressed a desire for even more communication from districts and district representatives, because if you think about it, they're kind of drinking from a fire hose of proposed legislation that they have to, form a position on and decide whether to vote for, and all kinds of different, lobbyists and interest groups trying to, convince them to vote one way or another. And if they don't hear directly from board members, superintendents, and educators from a district about how a certain bill might impact their district, they might not be aware of all the outcomes. And so I feel like as a district, we have historically done a very good job of communicating with our legislators, and I hope we continue to do so. But basically the big takeaway was it's better to over-communicate than under-communicate, and it's better for our legislators to hear from all members of our team of 8 than just maybe 1 or 2 of us if there's something that's going to impact the district. So that's just something I think for all of us to keep in mind moving forward. And speaking of that, you may, if you do get the EdRed emails, you may have gotten an email on, I believe it was sent out August 13th from EdRed. The topic would be 2026 Legislative Initiatives Survey. So they're looking for feedback from districts on what they should focus on for the coming year. So if you have any recommendations or strong concerns or ideas about that, please do fill out that survey. If you don't have the email, I'm happy to forward it to you. And that survey is due by September 2nd. Moving on, if you, this is very short notice, but if you have free time tomorrow afternoon, there is a COSPA Federal Court Wrap-Up webinar that's taking place tomorrow at 2 p.m. So you might, if you have COSPA emails, you might have gotten a registration link for that. I'm also happy to share that with anybody who's interested in registering and attending. Moving on to federal action impacting education, the HELP Committee, which is the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, recently adopted a bipartisan piece of legislation that would prohibit the Department of Ed from transferring certain offices to other governmental departments, which has been proposed recently. It would prohibit the transfers of the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, the Office of Post-Secondary Education, the Office of Indian Education, and the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education. Now, this is only the Senate committee that made this, that approved this vote, so it will go to the entire Senate, and then eventually it will be voted on by both the Senate and the House. So this is all still kind of pending, but I just wanted to share that update since its significant impact on the district would be felt. And that's all I have, unless, Stacy, you have anything you want to add? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. And we'll go on to the IASB and COSPA report. Anisha?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin, for sharing, because as far as like the reminder to all of us to share district stories, so Melissa and I are going to be doing that when we go to the Capitol, meet with our congressmen and our U.S. senators, and so really preparing those stories. So a reminder to all of you, like, we're happy to take our district stories. Melissa and I are going to be meeting with Brian, our superintendent, to see what specific stories from our district that we want to take back to Washington, D.C., and we're having a prep meeting Wednesday, August 26th with COSBA, a pre-conference preparation meeting with the COSBA team, because when a lot of prep goes into this, so in helping us tell our stories, so there's a lot of training that happens on the ground and beforehand. So Melissa and I are going to be meeting. I'm so excited Melissa's coming with me so we can like piggyback off of each other in being effective in this communication. So thanks for those reminders to tell the stories. So, and on the ISB front, thank you, Deb, for going to those meetings. ISB consistently has workshops and so forth, so for us to take advantage of them like we do at the conference in November. So otherwise this summer was maybe a tad quiet on my part as far as ISB is. We're doing family stuff, but that's all for me. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Anisha. And so NSSEO, we did hear from Deb, but do you have updates as well?
Yeah, I just have a short update. First of all, thank you again, Deb, for attending the first NSSEO governing board meeting that took place on August 5th. We also had a special governing board meeting last night, and the biggest update is that the 5-year collective bargaining agreement was passed. So that passed last night, which is fantastic, and our next meeting is on September 2nd. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so if I have everything in order, I think we're at student learning section of the agenda, and tonight we have an informational item. It's the technology update. So when they're ready, I think we are welcoming Katie Paulson and Brad Katz to the board table. Welcome to both of you. And then when you're ready.
Hi, everyone. We are going to share information about technology since the last time we were together. And that's the purpose of tonight. So our agenda is fairly short. The Lightspeed content filter will cover Raptor, YouTube access, and some updates to student device management.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So the first thing we want to talk about tonight is the Lightspeed content filter. So this summer we moved from our old content filter Securely and we moved over to Lightspeed mainly because they had some additional categories, more granular control, as well as better YouTube filtering. We also are implementing a usage collection service with them as well, so we'll be able to find out how much kids are on the computers, what sites they're going to, what apps they're using. So as the school year starts, kids get back on their devices, we'll be able to start collecting that data. Raptor. Raptor is our visitor management system, and we've been using that for quite some time, but it's been with a Windows device, and we've had nothing but issues with it over the past couple years. We've decided to move to the iPad version of it, which we tested over at Thomas last year, and it was very successful. It allows visitors to check in pretty much like a self-service setup. They do not need to hand their ID over to any of our staff. They can do it all from the iPad, and then our staff are able to approve or not approve them entering the building. We have some other features that we're going to be looking at implementing as well that will speed up visitors coming into our building, one of which is the ability for parents to scan their ID ahead of time and just have a QR code. So if they leave their wallet in the car, they can just come in, they've got their phone, they can scan it, and it still scans the same way as scanning their ID. It's just pre-scanned for them ahead of time. So we're going to be looking at doing that possibly, as well as some other features with attendance.
The next update is related to YouTube access, and this is a change that was made where students are only going to be able to view YouTube videos via teacher-provided link or embedded media. And as a lot of you know, that's going to provide intentionality around which videos are being used. The only way a student is going to be able to view something is if it was provided to them. So the teacher-approved video will be a journey with staff, as many of you will know, but the thing we wanted to update you on is that the shift in practice is supported by the Tech 25 staff here at Dunton, Brad and myself and the staff here, but also the tech facilitator team, which I met with today, and a lot of them are feeling confident in their ability to support. Something that feels really good about this is that it supports students and staff in continuing the platforms they already are used to, like a Google Slide or Google Classroom or Canva or Seesaw. So our students and staff are really familiar with those, so the change might not feel as large as if they were having to embed said video or link in sort of maybe a different platform. So that feels really good. And the supports we've already talked about with tech staff, building admins, and like I said, tech staff here feels pretty good at the moment. Of course, students haven't started yet, and staff is on day 2. But we feel good about the conversations that have been had and the communication that has been provided ahead of time. And of course, with anything, there'll be some learning curves, but overall, this change, I think, will really support some of our goals of intentional technology use, and, you know, to be continued on some of the further ways we'll support staff in this. And then lastly, student device management. So these are some of the pieces we talked about last meeting. Right now, a recent decision that was made is there's overnight internet access limits that have been put in place, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. It already has been implemented for students' accounts, so they'll be restricted. So that's a change that necessarily, you know, wouldn't feel during the school day, but certainly at home with the student device that has been put in place. And then something under consideration in the moment is thinking about grades 3 through 5 keeping devices at school. And as was communicated last month, because staff just started and students are still yet to come, we just want to be really mindful of moving at a speed that's respectful of students and staff and making sure we're communicating and working with them as partners. So our goal is to look into things like this and consider a change, but be really intentional about the information we gather before moving forward, which we've talked about that already. But devices staying at school for grades 3 through 5 would align to the current K-2 policy. So it would feel like a shift, but yet as we gather more information about specific device usage and which grades, we'll know what kind of greater impact they might have, as well as gathering that information about what are students doing on devices at home and in what grade levels, and then we can have a scope of the action steps for how we can support staff, because of course, making a decision like that without knowing the impact could have a negative impact. And then also evaluating instructional technology use with the topics that we have talked to you about. So gathering input. So considering what that might look like, how quickly we might be able to send things out, how quickly might we send it out to get the best response from parents, from students, from staff, knowing that the first day of school might not be a great time to gather input, but how quick can we move on some of those pieces? And we are looking at that curriculum alignment piece and the technology and how it aligns, that student engagement piece in the technology and how it's being used in screen time. Any questions at this time?
Thank you so much. It feels like you moved really quickly on all of this stuff, and I appreciate it, especially at a time when everything's starting up again. Could you explain a little bit more about what overnight access limits will look like for 6th through 8th graders? Because they'll have their devices. What does overnight access limit mean?
Sure.
So basically, starting at 10 p.m., the internet will be shut off on their device. So if they try going to Google, Schoology, any of their sites that they would normally go to, they will not have access to any internet.
So a follow-up question, does that mean that homework cannot be completed after 10 p.m.?
On their device, yes.
Yes.
That doesn't stop them, though, if they did have a home device that they could log in on that and still access Clever, Schoology, Google. The limit is only on their specific device.
Okay, thanks. As a sports family, I'm like,
Other questions?
President?
Kevin?
Thank you both for that presentation. One of the things I wanted to say is I appreciate that I can tell that you're taking into account not only the concern that a lot of community members have about the use of technology, but also the importance of gauging what that impact of any change would be on teaching and learning, and not just making a change without seeking teacher input, student input, family input. I think that's really important. So thank you for keeping that in mind. Just a quick question about the change from, I think it's from securely to Lightspeed, correct? Is there, if teachers or students encounter a situation that I've seen in the past can happen when changes like this occur, where something that should be accessible is not because of those filters, is there already a process in place that they can use to notify you or someone in the tech department to get that remedied?
So actually, a message went out twice this summer to all staff with a Google form. So if they come across a site or a YouTube video that is blocked currently, they can submit that form that comes directly to me, and then I evaluate it and open it up if necessary. So I will say, though, so far, most, if not all of our educational sites that we currently use, those are already open on Lightspeed. So.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Other questions? Melissa, go ahead.
I have more of a comment than a question. At first, I just wanted to say thank you for that presentation and all the work you've been doing. And I feel like this is going to set us up on the right foot to move in the right direction in terms of intentionality with technology and also getting data. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Great, thank you, Melissa. Anisha?
Yeah, I'm going to jump on the thank you bandwagon as well. Thank you, Katie and Brad. You've hit the ground running with responding to the concerns of families and collecting data and being cognizant of not making change too quickly, because change can be hard, right? And this piece of intentionality in tech use that's resonating with me, because that's what we've been hearing. And a question, I wonder, in the school technology community, I'm sure you're learning from what different districts are doing, and has a district done the 10 p.m., 6 a.m. kind of restriction that you know of, and how has that worked? And you don't have to answer that question right now. I was just thinking that.
I will just say that, as other topics in the past, over the last 12 years or more that I've been here, when you reach out to surrounding communities and surrounding districts, we usually are in the know and knowledgeable. So I have engaged with my counterparts, and everyone's in the same phase. So I would say that we are working to gather more information. Nobody has that specific information, but we're gathering it right now, and helpful as we do for many other content areas. So I'm continuing to connect with all the surrounding technology leaders, and because we're all in a similar place, and your question, that's something that everyone's kind of wondering. So I think what we'll probably do is create a partnership amongst the groups, and then we'll all be gathering information together and help each other. So that has started last week. Connecting, they were so kind, reaching out, and the communities are so wonderful around here. So it's started, and I anticipate down the line they're in the same timeline as us, but we'll have more to share on that if you're interested.
And of course, all this research is coming up, right, after, at the same time. So I appreciate that, and I'm sure that's going to be super valuable. So thank you for thinking outside the box and being innovative, and folks are coming to us at the District 25 as a kind of a lighthouse district. So thank you for all your hard work.
Great, thank you, Anisha. And I'm going to add on to what my colleague said. No, really appreciate it, the way you, what you shared, you gave us where we're at, what's short-term, what's farther out, and that really helps as we talk to community members about the range of where things are going. And I had a question for you, Brad. I just want to go back to the data collection on usage. And is that a range of data in terms of granularity, like down to the individual all the way to aggregate, or how does, I know it's probably early days, but what does that look like in terms of utility?
So it actually tracks device and by user. So we should be able to get down to the individual student if we wanted to with the data.
Yeah.
I've gone on it a few times already just to look, and there's nothing on there yet that would be helpful. I've gone on a few times to experiment with it to see how it's tracking things, but I'm actually excited to see what Thursday and Friday bring this week.
And you said it talks about what they're doing with the device, or it shares what they're.
Yeah, so it will tell us the apps that are used, it'll be the sites that obviously they've visited, as well as the time that they've spent on those sites.
Gotcha.
It's also tied in with Clever as well, which ties in with PowerSchool. So it links in their classes. It also links in all of their schedule, basically. So we might be able to go down and say, hey, this student, their schedule, this is what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions, or Dr. K? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple comments. I just want to say thanks to Katie and Brad for giving the presentation and having the conversations around the topics that you guys have raised, things you're thinking about in the future. And I respect one of the points you shared was a decision. So a decision to turn off the access on the device from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. We, I think, support the decision, but we're also aware this could bring some anxiety from students and parents. So I would anticipate a conversation taking place about how that's going with our students and our parents and our staff. Because if kids do have late nights when they're starting for whatever reason, plays, activities, and they can't start their homework until late time, I think we're going to need to be open about communication and how they share that with the staff that are grading that work, and if students were unable to get that work finished. I just feel like we need to be aware we are putting some limits, which is good, but we're testing the boundaries to see what kind of impact that will have. So I appreciate you guys taking the risk, albeit calculated risk. I'm hopeful for our students' mental health that they're not doing homework between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., but we're going to see what that impact is at the start of the school year. So I appreciate you guys taking the risk and helping lead that. So thank you.
A comment to build on that. With all the curriculum nights coming up, it's an excellent time to share this information and for teachers to field questions, and I'm sure they will be. So great timing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you both. We're going to move on to our business and finance section of the agenda. This is on the bond resolution, which is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution providing for the issue of not to exceed $20 million general obligation limited tax refunding school bonds series 2026 for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonds of the district, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the proposed sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second?
Thank you, Kevin. And do we? Yeah, so Stacy, do we have any additional information or any?
I guess the only additional information I would add, and I don't know if Brian sent this out already, but we did have our interview with Moody's last week and got the rating yesterday to remain AAA, so that's exciting. We did our due diligence call with bond counsel today as well. So we're looking at a timeline of selling the bonds next week, Tuesday. Liz has checked the schedule. There's a high demand for municipal bonds. We have one neighboring district going out on Monday. So trying to get out early, but not collide with any other neighboring districts.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Any questions for Stacy or please?
Mr. President?
Yeah.
Less of a question, more of a comment on this. As it is your last year, Stacy, my mind continues to be blown as how phenomenal the finances are in the district and how proud I am to have gotten to know you in the short time so far on the board and how financially strong we are, and the rating was incredibly impressive. So I just wanted to say thank you, because it is important not just for staff, for students, for community members, for all of us. So we appreciate you.
Well said, Deb. Thank you. Okay, if there's no other questions, Diane, when you're ready, could you please call the vote?
Michael,
Yes.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Neerman,
Yes.
Buchberger,
Yes.
Jogi,
Yes.
Tranter.
Yes.
Thank you, Diane. The motion carries 6-0. And thank you. And we're going to continue on in the same section with the 2026 through 2027 tentative budget. So Stacy, if you could take us through that.
Thank you. You might see me fumbling a little bit. I'm invested in all these new kinds of glasses as I'm, reaching that retirement age. So I got progressive and readers, and I don't know what to wear when. So tonight I'm presenting the 2026-27 tentative budget. The budget represents the work we've been doing throughout the year to establish our revenue assumptions, identify our expenditure needs, incorporate the board-approved personnel plan and capital projects, and align our resources with the district operational and educational priorities. Tonight's budget is tentative. We will continue to update the budget as additional information becomes available before the final budget is presented for adoption in September. Our largest revenue source, as you know, is our property taxes. For this budget, we have a CPI of 2.9% for the 2025 levy that was passed last December, and CPI would be 2.7% for the 2026 levy. We have historically assumed a 99% collection rate, and we do have the recapture amount that will come on this year that I anticipate. It is not at this point included in this budget. I anticipate putting those funds into the capital projects fund. We have been informed bills will go out 1 month late, so they will go out with a September 1st due date, September 1st with a due date of October 1st. Interest income is based on our existing fund balances and projected interest rates. We do have investments out through late next spring, so I'm comfortable using the 3.5%, knowing that we, on average, are at those rates through that time. We just yesterday got the CPPRT estimate, which is a 22% increase, but we don't seem to always recoup the full amount that's estimated, so I included 17% increase in the budget. EBF, we also got a final number. We are back to a Tier 3 district. We went to a Tier 2 district because we went just below 90% to 89.8. We are back up to 91%, so we'll see a $90,000 increase in EBF funding, which I will include in the final budget. Our transportation funds are reimbursements of prior year expenses based on the state formula. So as our costs increase, our reimbursement should increase. Last year, the state prorated our reimbursement. They reimbursed special ed of 80%. They prorated that by, They prorated that additionally, so we ended up only getting about 65% of that reimbursement. And in terms of our federal funds, we've received all of our allocations at this point, and the only one we're not anticipating is Title III IEP funds, which is under $20,000 a year for us. So when we compare the 2026-27 budget to the 25-26 budget, we're projecting an overall increase of $4.1 million in revenue. The increase is a result of several different revenue changes versus one single source. And as we move through the next slides, you'll see the specific areas. I am shifting around some of the levy going into this year. We did it with the 25 levy. I'll continue to do it with the 26 levy. We're continuing to levy additional in the O&M funds so we can continue to transfer funds to the capital project funds for future projects. I needed to shift some money into the transportation because of that reimbursement proration we received this year. And as our insurance costs increase, we'll shift some more dollars into that tort levy on the 2026 tax levy, into the tort fund with the 2026 levy. This slide indicates where the changes in revenue occur by source. There's not every revenue obviously increasing or changing at the same rate. We do look at each one independently and build the budget based on the assumptions for that particular source. Some of the revenues are tied directly to tax receipts or statutory formulas. Others are based on estimates or student enrollment or interest rates, such as our interest income, and then obviously our state and federal funding allocations. The increase in the property taxes of 4.1% represents a 2.9% CPI plus a 0.7% new growth for 3.6%, and the difference is what wasn't received on the 25 levy in the spring. The balance comes in the fall. The only other minor change there or noticeable is the decrease in other local. That was because last year we had a Dryden flood and we had an insurance claim, and that insurance revenue was another local source. We don't have that at this point going into next year, so that's the decrease there. This slide highlights the major changes between last year's budget and this year's budget. So while the overall revenue budget is increasing, the composition changes with increases and decreases. The TIF surplus we had in the budget last year. The village confirmed they had issued it to Cook County, but we didn't collect it by June 30th. So we'll anticipate those funds this year, and possibly we anticipate another TIF surplus distribution next spring, but whether that'll come by June 30th of next year, I don't know. That TIF expires in 2028, so we should have surpluses through then, and then that'll come on as new property with the 2028 tax levy. This slide just shows the breakdown of our revenue, and as typical, property taxes represent the most significant source of revenues for us. On the expenditure side, this budget incorporates the changes from the 2026-27 personnel plan. Our salaries are all based on our negotiated agreements, with the majority of that being our Teachers Association and our SEIU maintenance and custodial. All other salaries that were approved by the board in the spring were related to CPI increases. Our health insurance costs, the board has a 6% cap, so we anticipate costs will go up by 6%. In addition to that, we have curriculum adoption in this budget for middle school ELA curriculum adoption, and then updating the South Fitness Center equipment. We have additional funds in the tech budget, about $580,000 for network and cyber upgrades, firewall upgrades, and classroom projector replacements phase 2. Some of those costs may be recouped under E-rate, and we anticipate our friend Brad will apply for that, and those funds some will be recouped. The food service kitchen renovation and the equipment and the renovations were actually included in the 25-26 budget at $1.675 million. None of those dollars were spent in 25-26. The equipment actually arrived in July, and we paid for the equipment. In total, between the equipment and the renovations, the cost will be closer to $875,000, so not quite half of what we anticipated last year. Those dollars are included in this year's budget, the $875,000. Our bus contract, we have an signed contract for the next 4 more years with a 5% increase, as well as some increases in our taxi transportation for our students with special needs. And then capital projects include the $4.71 million that was approved in the spring. And then, as always, our contingency funds with about $500,000 for staffing and an extra $100,000 for non-staff emergencies. We also know there's 4 contingency students in our special ed tuition costs. So overall, we have, as always, about $1 million of contingency funds in the budget that we don't typically spend all of that and don't anticipate, but it's there so that we don't hopefully have to amend the budget. And then we'll continue to transfer funds from O&M to capital projects. This year's budget reflects $1 million, as well as working cash interest to the capital projects fund. When we compare this year's budgeted expenditures to last year, we're projecting an overall increase of $2.8 million, or just under 2.5%, which is probably the lowest we've seen in a really long time. This is actually important because our expenditure increase year to year in the budget is less than our revenue increase, which isn't typical. Some of these investments are very strategic and specific. This year's budget includes the last $4 million of referendum bond paid capital projects. Summer of 2026 we'll spend out the rest of those. Those proceeds were received in prior years, but the last of the costs are in this year's budget. This slide shows where the expenditure changes are occurring. Similar to revenues, it's helpful to look beyond the dollars by fund or in total and understand what is driving the change. Personnel costs, benefit costs are all tied to those assumptions we previously discussed. Purchase services, a lot of our contracts may have, software contracts may have inflationary increases built into them. Supplies and purchase services also account for a lot of our utility costs, which are built into there. So some of the expenditures are recurring operating costs, such as our personnel costs. Others are specific one-year planned cost, again, like the curriculum adoptions I mentioned. And similar to revenues, these are the major changes from last year's budget to this year's budget. As always, personnel is going to be our largest category of change. It's our largest percent of our budget. Again, with some targeted investments, you can see the decrease in the overall food service budget, about half of that 1.6 million. Some of the curriculum adoptions that were built into last year coming out, the curriculum adoptions built into this year going in. And then similarly, this shows the breakdown of our total expenditure budget, excluding debt and construction, because those tend to really skew your overall costs. And as always, our personnel costs represent about 78% of our budget, which is typical in a public school system. So last year when we did the budget, we projected almost a $5.9 million deficit. And as of right now, unaudited, we are ending the year with about $1 million deficit. So we're 4.8 million to the good. And we're ending the year with a $75.3 million fund balance instead of a $70 million fund balance. This budget overall reflects a $4.3 million budget. Again, a couple of key things is there's about $1 million of contingency money, as I mentioned, built into here to provide flexibility for unforeseen needs, but not anticipated to be spent unless necessary this year. And then again, you see in the capital projects fund, we anticipate spending the balance of the $4 million in referendum bond proceeds, and that will leave us with just over 14 million in our capital projects fund for future capital projects. So while we are anticipating a $4.3 million deficit, it's important to understand some of that's intentional, some of that's based on what we've done along the way with the referendum. And if you look at kind of that subtotal line in the middle, you can see our what I would call operating funds total deficit is about $1 million. And again, there's $1 million of contingency built in there. So I would anticipate by the time we get to the end of next year, ending with a balanced budget in our operating funds. And then this just shows the timeline for the budget. We will continue to make changes ongoing from now. Like with all the personnel you hired tonight, we'll update the salary budget. We will meet with the board reps and go through the budget in more detail in mid-September. And then the next final major step would be the public hearing and the final budget adoption at the end of September. So there's a lot of information for you tonight. You have the presentation and the detailed legal budget in board docs. I'm happy to take questions tonight, but obviously we also have 30 days for you to look since you just got some of this information right now, as well as when we talk to the board reps in mid-September.
Great. Thank you, Stacy, for taking us through that. Any questions at this point from the board?
Stacy, a question for you, maybe not directly related to what we've been looking at, but the property tax repeated delay that's been occurring, how does that affect directly our reduced interest income? And is there any way or a form that we can file through the state to recollect that interest income because they continue to be delayed and late, and that affects us in a negative way?
Yes, thank you. Great question. So Mary Gore from District 57 started a coalition that we've all been participating in. The last I heard, which was, again, the last group conversation I was a part of was before when school ended last year. Nobody really knows what Cook County did with all the interest income they earned on the dollars they held for all that time last year. I know it's been raised that we feel we should get a portion of that. Historically, when we get our tax distribution data, every once in a while there is an interest distribution from the county treasurer's office because of the very fact that they hold our dollars. We have not seen that all year from Cook County. The fact that they have been able to get us our individual distribution information by day the dollars were distributed, but they cannot get us a report for 24 or 25 of the full amount of the levy, the full amount extended, the full amount collected at this point, which they always have done. So there's still some significant data lacking that we have access to. So can we get access to that? We're going to try, but whether or not that'll be successful, I don't know. That nobody's even identified where it exists, let alone, or how much it is, let alone can we access it. So I don't know that I have an answer to that.
Thank you, Deb. Other questions? Along that line, Stacy, I had a question. Could you remind the board, this year we're looking at September 1st bills to go out, tax bills. And what was it last year? And do we still expect a negative impact compared to when it should be collected?
Thanks. So certainly, if our levy is, I'll throw out rough numbers, if our tax levy is $80 million, you get 55% of that in the spring, and then you get the balance in the fall. So 45%, $80 million, you're talking let's say $38 million in this fall collection. If we're supposed to get that by September 1st, and it typically mostly comes in the month it's due, we lose interest. Last year we lost interest September, October, November, December on $38 million, one district, when you talk about interest income. So for us, we figured it was between $700,000 and $800,000 of interest income. So this year, we'll lose it for that month because taxpayers would have start paying September 1st. So 3.5% on $38 million for 1 month.
So the ideal would be August 1st? When would be?
Typically, tax bills go out August 1st for a September 1st due date.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Thank you.
And that reminds me, though, the bond refinancing that we'll be doing is not, at this point, incorporated into this budget because I don't have all the numbers yet.
Gotcha.
So I would anticipate those changes will come in that final budget once we sell and get all those numbers.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right, if there's no further questions, we'll continue on. Again, in the same section of the agenda, we have the annual crossing guard locations item, and this is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the crossing guard locations for the 2026-27 as presented.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second.
Great. Thank you, Kevin and Stacy.
This is an annual agenda item that we bring to the board. There are no changes in the crossing guard locations that we're proposing from last year to this year, and we do continue to staff 5 of those locations through a contracted service.
Okay. Any questions from the board? All right, seeing none, Diane, could you please call the vote?
Scapalato,
Yes.
Neerman,
Yes.
Buchberger,
Yes.
Jogi,
Yes.
Tranter,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Thank you, Diane. The motion carries 6-0. And the next agenda item is the resolution to continue serious safety hazard busing for the 2026-27 school year. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution to continue serious safety hazard busing for the 2026-27 school year.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second?
Thank you, Kevin. And again, Stacy.
Yes, again, this is an annual item the board approves, so we are in compliance with the state guidelines for submitting our claims, and there are no changes again and haven't been since 2016-17.
Great. Thank you, Stacy. Any questions? All right, seeing none. Diane, if you could please call the vote.
Neerman,
Yes.
Buchberger,
Yes.
Jogi,
Yes.
Tranter,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Scapalato.
Yes. And thank you, Diane. The motion carries 6-0. And thank you, Stacy, for all those items. All right, we'll continue on to the Personnel and Planning section of tonight's agenda. The next agenda item is the approval of the employee handbooks. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the following staff handbooks for the 2026-27 school year as submitted. Educational Support Personnel Handbook, Food and Nutrition Services Handbook, Guest Teacher Handbook, Other Support Personnel Handbook, Teaching Assistant, Clerical Assistant, and Registered Nurse Handbook.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second?
Thank you, Kevin. And welcome, Kendra. If you could take the board through this.
Yeah, thank you. So this is an annual update for the board. As Liz listed, there are 5 employee handbooks that we review. We work with the constituents of those groups, the employees of those groups, and then in addition, Sandy and Jana with Food and Nutrition Services help update that handbook, and Kasha assists us with our guest teacher handbooks. They're very useful tools for us to stay in tune with what our staff needs are beyond our 2 union groups, and it helps guide the benefits and compensation for those groups. So just a couple high-level updates for you. The compensation charts in all of the employee handbooks have been updated to reflect the personnel plan that we approved this year with that percentage increase. The benefits have also been updated along with the payroll dates for those groups. We updated the complaint manager designation to reflect a current district administrator, Steve Prorock, will be joining me in that role. We revised language across all the handbooks to align with our new ATA contracts, bereavement leave, which we changed last year, so now all these groups will benefit from that. We clarified some language to ensure the evaluation cycle for the TA group is differentiated, and the ESP group, I apologize, both those groups, is differentiated based on their employment status. So for their first 2 years new to a role, they're evaluated annually. After that, we evaluate them every 2 years. Lastly, we updated position titles to accurately reflect the district's current staffing in our OSP handbook. So those are all of the updates that we made this year. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Great. Thank you, Kendra. Any questions from the board? Okay. Then, Diane, when you're ready, could you please call the vote?
Buchberger,
Yes.
Jogi,
Yes.
Tranter,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Neerman.
Yes.
Thank you, Diane. The motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Kendra. And that brings us to the superintendent report. Dr. K is getting the remote. When you're ready, Dr. K.
Just enjoying the Diane roll call with authority. You say those names loud and proud. Very good. So just a couple items for the superintendent update today. I have the welcome back to our District 25 staff who all joined us yesterday. It feels like it may have been a week ago, but it's only been one day. And I know a couple of you were able to comment on that during the board reports and celebrate. I wanted to show a video that was put together so that Kevin no longer has FOMO from the event. And then just a quick update on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council as well, and then let you know that all the FOIAs that were submitted in the past month since the last meeting have been answered on time. So let's go with the video. If you could play that, Adam, that would be wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Today, D25 staff is back in our buildings. And we welcome them back with a bang of the drum, some t-shirt launches, and a whole lot of dancing. The World Cup gave us such inspiration this summer, and all those positive vibes carried over to our opening day with staff. We honored our food and nutrition services and tech teams at all the buildings, and we asked them to dance the Dutch celebration dance, left, right, or links, right. They were very good sports. We heard from leadership who inspired us as we kick off the 26-27 school year, the message of together, pulling in one direction as a team, as a community, and that's what District 25 in Arlington Heights is all about.
Ending of the World Cup over this past few months, you saw what happens when great individuals surrender their egos for a single united purpose.
And then, of course, we finished it off with a fan favorite from this past summer. See you on the pitch this week, Arlington Heights. Let's all go after that trophy. And thanks for watching. Bye.
To everyone who was able to join. I do think it is an extremely special event because it has been a tradition of every staff member. So every group of employee is invited to participate. While we wait for all of the teachers to return, it is a sweet event where everyone gets recognized, or at least we try to make sure every group of staff is recognized. And just a thanks to Greg and Allison for taking the time to get up on stage to read a message of support to everyone as well. It was great. And this year we highlighted two groups at the very beginning, almost like the Olympics, where you bring in the flags for your country. We have the flags of the schools that come in, and this year we recognize the food service staff and all of our technology staff, which was great. And they were not pre-warned that they would be asked to dance, so I give them a lot of credit for being good sports on the moment in command. So again, it feels like a great start yesterday. Today was another great day of learning. And tomorrow is teaming day, so a third day of learning, and then we will welcome all of the students on a Thursday. So between now and then, I know there's a lot of supply drop-offs and meet the teacher events, so things are definitely really busy and cooking here in District 25. So to throw in a board meeting this week, how exciting. This was great. So congratulations to all of you for putting in extra effort this week. And we are making progress on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. We have approximately 47 kids who have signed up, and we are conducting interviews. They're 15 minutes. They'll be via Google Meet next week, starting on Monday. We will continue that on Wednesday and then the following Monday. So in the next 2 weeks, we will have a chance to hear each student's interest in wanting to be part of that council and be a voice for their school. And I anticipate by September 15th will be our first group meeting. I'll be inviting a couple of board members to participate in that as well. And then at the next board meeting, I'll have a couple groups here to present and share what the start of the school year look like for their schools. So we'll have a couple others joining us. I believe the next meeting is at the end of September, as Stacy had just acknowledged. So I'm excited. At the next board meeting, we'll have some student representatives to share out as well. Any questions about the Student Advisory Council? Excellent. And my last topic.
I just want to say thank you, Dr. K, for making this happen, for taking this vision and actualizing it. And you've done it, and I think I've said this before, but really like thinking outside the box, kind of getting all our ideas and putting our ideas into something that's going to be meaningful for our students in our district and customizing it for us. So thank you for walking us through that journey.
Well, I'm excited to see it come to fruition next month, so thank you. And then we had 6 FOIAs since the last time we met, and all of those were answered on time. So any questions about the FOIAs that were submitted? All right, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. K. This brings us to the second community input section on the agenda. Diane, do we have any slips? Okay. Seeing that we have no slips, we'll continue on to the future agenda items. So looking at my board colleagues, any items that may have been discussed with Dr. K, but we want to bring up here as potentially a future item. Okay. All right. So the board will not be going back to closed session. So can I have a motion to adjourn the regular meeting?
Mr. President,
Yes, Liz?
I move that we adjourn the regular meeting.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second?
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Diane, will you please call the roll?
Jogi,
Yes.
Tranter,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Neerman,
Yes.
Buchberger.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Diane. The motion carries 6-0, and we'll see everyone in September. Thank you.